Trump, the accidental president, but he is still very much the president of the United States, whether you want to admit it or not. This is part 2 of my analysis of Donald Trump, the first part obviously being his rise from becoming a totally unelectable candidate to actually becoming president of the United States. This part is about the 8 months we've been surviving through recently. And this is also going to cover why I think it is so important that the media repair its damaged integrity from what they did in 2016 in their arrogance. Trump could have stayed a private citizen, let politicians come to him and write checks. He gets the influence by them to pass laws that he would like to see. So your argument that basically he could not, that by being president he could do something that he couldn't have done already before he was elected was nonsense. It did not register with me. He gets influence on laws that are favorable to him. He already had a voice in the media. They were more than willing to put his face on TV before. So it's not about his ego. He already had lots of fans. Many he lost by declaring for president. And yet your answer was, it was all about him and his ego. None of it rang true to me, and that's why I knew you were shouting out a bunch of hypocrisy. What we do know is he is an entrepreneur. He makes money. His time is important, yet he still ran. And you are probably right, 3 decades of no government is not good for his business or any others. So he does have a motive. What I think? Trump did the one thing an independent could do. Remember, the Republicans and Democrats have made it nearly impossible for a successive third party or independent individual to get elected. They have all the advantages, so what did he do? He beat the first party in the primaries, defeated the other in the general election. And that's how you get the only way you would get an independent candidate elected in this day and environment, thanks to the Republicans and the Democrats. They made it impossible to do it any other way. He wants to do something, but he isn't an ideologue. After Trump got Republican nomination, they moved on. Occasionally they mention Trump is not a Republican, but they still insist he is a Republican because they think Republicans can use pressure to get him in line, which is fundamentally flawed, since he is not a Republican. That is the crux of the problem. Trump himself is the same man. It is the opposition who stopped treating him as an individual after he got the nomination and called him a Republican. Every mistake is stemming from this one problem. No, to Trump, his time is valuable. He is doing this because Washington is so worried about getting reelected, they won't make a decision unless they see a political advantage. The media like the attention and access, so they play along with Washington. Trump just wants to work. I'm not even sure he will run again in 2020. If he does, it will be because he is getting things done, not because he tried to play the Washington game. I say all of this because Trump has a major flaws. I knew when I voted for him, it meant it was imperative we keep a watch on what he is doing. I voted for him only because it worried me the level of arrogance in the people that were asking for my vote, not because I was an idiot and believed he was the best choice. But reporters in Washington keep acting like Trump is a Republican. I think that is a mistake. Each time he tweets or says something ham-fisted, I cringe. But I immediately realize these are just words. My focus turns to Congress. That's where the real problem's at. I haven't forgotten that the Constitution places power over the purse in Congress, not the president. In the end, the president gets one vote, and then only once it gets to his desk. What's frustrating for me is he is distracting reporters from Washington, and while I'm desperately trying to find why by focusing on Congress, the media is choking us on 24-hour tweet watch. Things that might offend feelings but doesn't make a bit of difference to how the government works. Mostly, I've not overly minded because I've seen little to really concern me. Finally, I think I see something to really concern me. I think I finally understand what he may actually be trying to do. Thank you. Part 3 will be coming. While I refer sometimes as if the electorate is sending a specific message, I do fully understand that as individuals we go and vote, and individually people have different reasons. But the results of the election, that is what I refer to when I say the message that's being sent to Washington, D.C. Because their behavior is basically, I want to get elected. So when the results come in, they look at it and decide what you're telling them as a group.